go with your babe, go with your
Ladles and jelly spoons, welcome to TFI CAD Tips, and in today's tutorial we're looking at grill. Now you might be thinking, grill? What grill? Grill? I see no grill. What is this grill you're speaking of, silly Englishman? I see no grill. Well, it's one of the plastic part buttons which Autodesk have deemed so infrequently used that they've just went and hidden it completely. They've just disabled it, so you've got to switch it on. So right click on your ribbon bar, your blank area up here, go to show panels and then switch on plastic part and you'll see 6 new buttons appear. Oh, new toys. Quite right, quite right. New toys, 6 new buttons, and the one we're looking at is grill. So these are the features which assist you with the design of plastic parts. You've got things like snap fit clips, lips, rests, bosses, rule fillet, which is a mystery to itself, and we've got grill. So grill creates it creates a grill, man. Obviously, creates a grill. You can't really use it creatively to do things which aren't meant to be a grill. It is a grill. That's pretty much all it does. So that is very niche, but I'll show you how it works, and you might be able to use it creatively. I don't know. It depends entirely what you're doing, but let's take a look. So I'm going to start by creating something extraordinarily basic, and then we'll look at something a little bit more advanced. So I'm going to start just by, we're going to do something from scratch. So follow me if you will. If you want to, you can do. So I'm going to sketch on the ZXY plane, and then let's just snot up a rectangle and make this, I don't know, 100 by 100. Something like that. In fact, hell no, that's too small. Let's go 500 by 500. That'll do. Right, 500 by 500. Finish that sketch and then extrude this both ways by 10 millimeters. Right, that'll do. So that could be a bit of plastic that we need to put a grill in. So the first thing you need to know about the grill command is you don't grill the entire thing. You can't convert a part into a grill. Basically, what you're doing is you're creating a grill feature. So you're putting a grill into a part. So you need a new sketch to start with. So we're going to start a new sketch on this face. And your grill sketch, the sketch that you create to define the grill can be on the face or above it. So you can hold the left mouse button down and drag up by, say, I don't know, 50 mil, something like that. And then that could be the sketch for the grill. It doesn't have to be on the face. It sort of projects it down onto the surface, which is really good actually, because then this could be curved. You can actually have a curved surface to grill onto, which is nice. It's nice. Right. So the grill itself, right? You need 2 things. Well, at a minimum 2 things. You need a boundary, and then you need your grill lines. So we're going to start with a boundary. Let's keep it simple. Let's just do lines and squares, because that's just, if you're not familiar with the grill, it might just it helps you understand the concept if we keep it simple to start with. So let's draw another rectangle and let's keep it central. So snap there, and then we'll say this one will be 100 by 100. That's 100 tab 100, and it jumps between the dimensions. There you go. Just in case you didn't get that, if I'm like zipping ahead here, when you're in the middle of sketching rectangles and stuff, if you type in 100 straight away, it types into that dimension. Then if you press tab on the keyboard, it jumps into the next one, and then you can just press return, and there you've got your thingy done quickly. It just saves a bit of time. Saves a bit of time having to edit dimensions later on, which is what you used to do back in olden days. So that's the boundary for the grill. It might be difficult to visualize where I'm going with this, but if you just follow me, you'll sort of understand it in the end. And then we need to do a pattern. So this is one of those rare occasions where a sketch pattern is okay. In most instances, a sketch pattern is not okay. You need to do a 3D pattern, but in this one, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So we're going to do a rectangular pattern, and then we're going to pattern this edge here, the direction. So you're going to click that red arrow, pick this edge, and we're going to have 10 lines spaced by 10 millimeters, which means it fits in the 100 boundary. And then we can click OK. And then the second pattern is going to be this one here. And then the direction is going to be that line there. And then you're going to flip it so it goes that way. And then we're going to have the same. We're going to have 10 by 10. There you go. Right, so there you've got a sort of profile for the grill. This outer rectangle is the boundary. And then these inner lines are the actual grill lines themselves. So we can finish that sketch. We can get rid of this work plane just by right-clicking on it and then turning it off. And we're ready to launch the grill. So when you select grill, the dialog box for grill it's as, I guess, as user-friendly as a developer could make it. That's all I can say about it, really. It's got a diagram in it, and it's kind of helpful once you know how it works, but when you first look at it, you're like, shit the bed, Christ in a bike, that is just... moving on. I'm not even going to look at this. I haven't got time for that. So you want to first select the boundary. So that's the first tab. The boundary is going to be the outer rectangle. Now, this is potluck, right? It's potluck. Sometimes you'll get a preview underneath when you select the profile. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. In this instance, I'm not getting a preview, which is extraordinarily annoying because in most instances in Inventor, if you don't get a preview as you're defining a feature, it means it's not going to work. But in this case, that's not necessarily true. I'm not getting a preview, but I'm pretty confident this is going to work. There's very little that can actually go wrong here. So I've defined the boundary, and then the rest of these dimensions here are the sizes of the boundary. So the one important one is the depth. So this is how far the grill's going to go through the plastic part. So at the moment it's 2 mil, but if you want it to go all the way through, so if you want a grill that grills through the entire feature, you can just put in 10 mil, because I know the thickness of that plastic is 10 mil. So I can put in 10 mil there. That means the boundary is going to go all the way through. And then this here is sort of the lip that runs around the edge. So it's converting this into a plastic grill. So it's allowing you to define like the edges and the lips and the raised features of the grill. So we can have maybe 1 mil wide boundary, and then you can have it raised off the surface, and that's this dimension here. So you can see that line there and then there is representing the plastic part. So you can have it sort of raised up slightly, so we can maybe put in a value of 1 mil there. And then you can just preview what it's going to look like. If you just click OK, you get this. You're like, oh, I see. But because we've raised it up by 1 mil, we're now only going down by 10 mil. So actually, we need to go down by 11 mil because we've added a millimeter onto it. So if we just edit this grill feature in the tree and change this one to 11, that should now go all the way through. So we've now got a 2 mil wide lip, raised 1 mil off the surface, and it goes through by 11 mil. That's pretty much where we're at. Actually, it's 1 mil wide. So it's a 1 mil wide lip, 1 mil raised off the surface, 11 mil down. Okay, right, so the next thing you need to do is define the internal ribs. So that's these bits here. So you want to go to rib, and then you can just select the lines. You need to be a little bit careful with window selecting stuff because it can pick up entities and points and make things go a little bit skew if. So as long as you don't have thousands of lines or even hundreds of lines to click, I would just, if you can, just click them individually. I know window selecting is a hell of a lot more time efficient, but it can get you in a bit of trouble if you do window select stuff. It's probably not too bad. I know all I'm picking up is lines there, so I can pick those up. Right, so this is the dimensions of the inner grill lines, the ribs. So the width of these I can say is 1 mil. How far do they go down? Well, that's this one here. We can say 11 mil. Not 112, that wouldn't do very good. And then we can raise these. Should we raise these a mil off? No, let's just keep those the way they are, right? And then you can click OK, and you can see there's your grill. How good's that? How good's that? That has saved me so much time. If I was in the business of making grills and business was a booming, then that would save me so much time. I thank you. You are welcome. So there's your grill. Right, other things you can do. You can put an island in the middle of it. Like I've got, since I said that, I've got La Isla Bonita stuck in my head. You know that Madonna song, La Isla Bonita. But I haven't got an island here, so I need to edit the sketch. So there's sketch 2. So the island is essentially just like a solid plastic body in the middle of the grill. So that can be anything. Let's just draw a circle. Let's keep this simple. Keep it simple, stupid. There you go. There's your island. So you can finish the sketch, edit the grill, and then go to island, and then select this circle. And then if you just click OK straight from the bat, you just get like this solid region in the middle representing an island, which you can then shell out if you want to. If you go back to the island tab, you can then add sort of a lip running around the island. So we can say 1 mil, and then when we look underneath it, we should have a hollow 1 mil thick island. So it's pretty simple, isn't it? It's pretty simple once you sort of get the hang of it. You're like, oh, I see, right. So there's other bits in here. You can add draft angles to the, if you're actually interested in manufacturing this, you can then add the draft angles to the ribs. You can also add spars, which is just basically strengthening beams, which would just, you would deselect some of these lines and then select them again as spars, and then you can add slightly thicker members in there. But that's pretty much it. Pretty much it, isn't it? You can see the flow area there. I don't make plastic parts, so I'm sure that's useful to somebody, but it's a number and it looks like it's accurate, and that's good enough for me. That is good enough for me. Right, and there you go. So that's how you create a simple grill. It's kind of a grid, I guess. It's kind of a grid. But there you go. There's your grill. Right, so you can get quite creative with this. So what I'm going to do is just delete this, and then we're going to start again. And I'm going to create something a little bit more funky. And then you might start to see, oh, I see, yeah, all right. Let's make a work plane up there. Let's turn him off. I don't like work planes, as I said. And let's make a polygon. Let's do a 6-sided polygon. That would be a hexagon. Math. I was at school that day in math. And then we can snap to the middle, and then let's just make a polygon. Wow, it's a constration sensation up in there. Too many dots, man. Too many dots. Don't like all those dots. Let's constrain him that way. So he's so he's all parallel. And then let's put a dimension on. So that's D. That's a shortcut D for dimension, and then we can go from there to there, and let's make that 20 reet. And then what I'm going to do, I need to pattern this. I'm going to pattern this because basically what I'm creating is like a honeycomb. I'm creating a honeycomb grill, in case you hadn't noticed. So we can do a line, construction line, and this is going to be the pattern directional arrows. That's no good, Neil. You've just oversnapped. So we can go from there to there, and then from there to there. So I'm sort of pre-creating my pattern directional lines, and then we're going to go rectangular pattern, and I'm going to pattern that. It would be nice if I could select all of this in one go, but I can't. So that's not really anything I can do about that. Right, direction 1 is going to be that line there, and it's 20, wasn't it? So I made that 20. So we're going to say, no, I don't want 20 of them. I want 5, and the distance is going to be 20, and then I want to go that way. Right, is 5 too few? Probably. Let's make 8. And then direction 2, we're going to go that way, and then we'll want 8 by 20 mil. So this is a bit fiddly, but this is sort of the advanced section of it. This is the advanced section. I'll click OK. And there you've got like a honeycomb kind of pattern. I can't make this into a grill straight away because I haven't got a boundary. The boundary also needs to be a closed profile in sort of a selectable region. So to try and create a boundary from this, it would just be an absolute nightmare. So what we're going to do is finish that sketch there, and I'm going to make another sketch on the work plane that I hidden, which is that one there. And the boundary is also going to be a hexagon. So we're going to say, let's just make it out of the way first. Let's make it so big, and let's constrain it in place so we can go vertical. I know that doesn't really look vertical, but just the way the camera is. And then distance from there to there, let's say 100. So that should now fit over a good section of the hexagons, and we can probably drop them in about there. Right, so in order to get them right bang in the middle there and in line with the other patterned items, what I need to do is project some geometry. So let's project that edge there and then that edge there, and that allows me to snap that line. There's probably a better way of doing this, but I'm kind of in a hurry. That way, and then I can centralize that middle of the big hexagon to that little hexagon line there. There you go. So we've now made it perfectly smack bang in the middle of that pattern. So essentially, I'm going to make a grill with this being the boundary, and then I want to use the internal hexagon honeycomb pattern as the ribs. So all of this patterned stuff over here is just wasted. I don't need any of this, but because it's a sketch pattern, it's not really all that easy to sort of suppress them out. You can do it, but it's not really time efficient. I don't need to. So I can finish that sketch, and now we can now create a new grill. The boundary is going to be that there. Still no preview, which sucks cock, but what can you do? And then we're going to keep this all the same. Let's just keep it the same. So it's going to be a 1 mil lip, 10 mil deep, and it needed to be 11, didn't it? Yep, it needs to be 11. And then the ribs, right, again, the ribs. You can't window select these because we've got points inside here. We've got construction lines. We've got all sorts. If you do a window select, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So this is really irritatingly fiddly, but it is what it is. There's nothing really that you can do. You just got to just keep selecting them. How was your day? I'm just now going to fill in time. How was your day? Did you have a good weekend? I did. I went to home base and bought lots of stones. I was stoning my garden. I dug up the turf and put stones down instead, and I had an absolute mathematical fail. I bought 16 bags of stones, and it covered about 10% of the region which I needed to fill. So I needed about 5 trips back to home base, and 300 quid later, I have stones in the garden. It was a great story. Would you like to tell me it again? Well, tune into next episode, and I might do. Right, so there's the internal ribs all selected. So we've got 1 mil thick, so all of these ribs are going to be 1 mil thick. They're going to go down by 11 mil, and I need to raise them up a mil, don't I, if that's to be accurate. And then okay. And what we should have now is a sexual looking honeycomb grill. Look at that. Boom. There you go. Now, that's more of an advanced grill. So that would be, yeah. You can see how creative you can get with this. It depends entirely on the ribs that you're creating, and you need to have a boundary, and you need to have solid grill lines in the middle for it to actually work. But that's pretty much it. That's plastic part and creating grills. And that'll do for this one, chums, friends. If you like that, slap a like on it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodles.
Wherever you go, go with your babe, go with your babe.